So with that being said, I'm now going to turn it over to Pastor George to give one of his electrifying speeches.
This is what it's like every Saturday night. My brother and sister patriots, I am so glad to be here with you today to celebrate the crushing court victory that we have won against the socialist regime of Joe Sinnott and his crew of political lackeys, money-grubbing lawyers, and jackbooted police. And it is absolutely fitting that on this ground, dedicated to the hero of Lake Erie, Commodore Oliver Hazard Perry, that we repeat his immortal words, "We have met the enemy and they are ours." Even while I and others cried out, warning of the Gestapo-like tactics of the Erie police from this very podium last June, they were busy photographing, taking down license plates, and recording all manner of personal information like some kind of junior branch of the NSA. Under the direct orders of the mayor, who he himself is influenced by an organization filled with the vilest sort of criminal element, that is to say, Bloomberg's Mayors Against Guns. This in an effort to stifle your rights enumerated under both the United States Constitution and the Constitution of Pennsylvania. And they were conferred to you not by man, but by God himself. Now, Mayor Sinnott is proudly a member of Mayors Against Illegal Guns, which is more rightly called Mayors Against All Guns. This group, financed by liberal billionaire Michael Bloomberg, a man who on national television said the difference between a pistol and an assault rifle like an AR-15 is that with a pistol, every time you pull the trigger, it goes bang, 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 and with an AR-15, you just hold down the trigger and it goes prap. Now, these are the people who would like to be writing gun laws for our country. Sadly, this group is not only painfully uninformed, but quite nefarious. Now, people tell me that as a pastor, I am not giving enough Bible quotes from the podium, so here you have one. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says this, "Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character." Well, let's take a look at the kind of company Mayor Sinnott is keeping. Mayor Richard Corky of Coaldale, Pennsylvania, a convicted pedophile. Mayor Pat M. Ahumida Jr. of Brownsville, Texas, a 3-time convicted driving while drunk. Mayor Gordon Jenkins of Monticello, New York, convicted of counterfeiting. Mayor Beth Flounsbaum Talabasco of Tamarack, Florida, official misconduct. Eddie Perez of Hartford, Connecticut, felony misconduct and corruption. Gary Becker of Racine, Wisconsin, another convicted pedophile. Sheila Dixon of Baltimore, Maryland, theft and perjury. Larry Langford of Birmingham, Alabama, bribery. David Delladonna of Gutenberg, New Jersey, tax evasion and extortion. Will Wynn of Austin, Texas, assault. And Mayor Terry Mack of Trenton, New Jersey, bribery, and the list goes on and on and on. And these are the people who proudly proclaim that we must have mandatory universal background checks in order to buy a gun. You know what I think? I think they should have mandatory universal background checks before you're allowed to run for mayor. Or perhaps maybe just the United States birth certificate before you run for president. Though today we celebrate a victory in court over the would-be police state that the oath breakers of the Erie Police Department would have instituted, one can only imagine what they might be doing with all of the personal information, addresses, names, and other identifying marks of not only the Erie 8, but everyone at the rally last year. I wonder what sort of sneaky, nefarious database that information has found itself into. The NSA? FEMA? Department of Homeland Security? Perhaps all of them, making it much easier to identify which doors to kick down when the confiscation of your guns becomes the law of the land. Now, you may think that this could never happen here, but just last week I was up in Hartford, Connecticut with nearly 10,000 fellow patriots and they're facing that very real possibility today. And you know what their word to their government is? Live free or die. Thomas Jefferson said, the laws that forbid the carrying of arms are of such a nature they disarm only those who are neither inclined nor determined to commit such crimes. Such laws make things worse for the assaulted and better for the assailants. They serve rather to encourage rather than prevent homicides. For an unarmed man may be attacked with greater confidence than an armed man. Consider it now. Over 200 years ago, Thomas Jefferson knew to be true what we know to be true today, that more guns equals less crime. Even though we're at an open carry rally, the facts are very clear that since the advent of the majority of states in this country adopting what are known as shall issue concealed carry laws, that the rates of murder and violent crime have dropped dramatically over the last 20 years. Insanely enough, murder capital USA, Chicago, has seen a 17% drop in murders since the first carry permits were issued just a few months ago. In fact, let me read this article to you from the Chicago Tribune from April 5th. A 53-year-old South Austin man with a valid concealed carry permit. We gotta have a cheer for a valid concealed carry permit in Illinois. Was able to shoot two men who tried to accost him outside of his home early this morning. The incident happened at 2:40 a.m. at the 5400 block of West Van Buren Street, said the Chicago Police Department News Affairs Officer Michael Sullivan. The man was walking from his garage to the front of his home when two males in hoodies, wow, criminals committing crimes in hoodies. Sounds like a flashback to me. They appeared in a gangway between his home and his neighbor's home, Sullivan said. One of the men pulled a handgun from his waistband and pointed it at the man, who then took out his own gun and managed to fire several times at the males. The males fled the area, the newspaper says, without being struck, but we don't know that, do we? And the shooting did not result in any property damage, police said. It also did not end with him being shot. It did not end up with him being robbed. It ended up with the bad guys running tail and leaving. Sadly, because there were no guns at a school just north of here, there are 20 hacked up school children recovering in a hospital. And that just proves to you, ladies and gentlemen, that in this country we do not have a gun problem, we have a mental health problem. Yeah. Had the mayor of Erie bothered to do even a little bit of historical research, he would have known that our right to defend ourselves does not end at the boundary of a park. Now, my understanding of this ordinance is that originally it was passed to prevent hunting in the park, in the middle of the city. Okay, all you ADD guys, relax. Now, why is it that liberals always bring up hunting whenever they talk about gun rights? Now, personally, and I've mentioned this before, I do not hunt. I've been hunting. I don't like hunting. I don't like sitting in a tree in December before the sun comes up. If that's something you like to do, God bless you, and I hope you keep doing it. I do like venison. I'll give you my address later. And you know what? I got guys all over the place that like to go hunting, but they use a bow and arrow. We got any archery hunters out there? I did a couple of guys, right? So that just proves to me that hunting and guns have no real relationship. Our founding fathers would have thought it foolishness to even bring the subject up, since back in that day, everybody hunted because that's how you put meat on your table. No, the reason for the Second Amendment is to ensure that we might never fall under the yoke of tyranny, nor ever have any less than a ready defense of our lives and property, and that is our God-given right. Make no mistake, the ultimate goal of socialists like Obama, Biden, Holder, Feinstein, Bloomberg, and Sinat is to disarm the populace that they may be ruled over rather than governed. Let our message be loud and clear. We do not submit to tyranny. Will you submit? Will you submit? No. Will you submit? No. We do not have kings or emperors or dictators. Here, this is America, a nation founded on freedom, on liberty, and independence. We were given our rights to defend our way of life by means of a gun, if necessary, by our Creator God, and no man, no matter how misguided, nor whatever office that he might hold, is able to take that away. Now, before I take my leave of you today, I want to share with you one last quote from Commodore Perry. On September 10th, 1813, Perry raised his battle flag, which said simply, "Don't give up the ship." Against insurmountable odds, Perry, aboard the USS Niagara, for the first time in history, forced the British squadron to surrender. It was through grit and determination that Perry was victorious. And it is through grit and determination that the American patriot will see victory over the ill-conceived imaginings of liberal gun grabbers. I suspect they do not have the stomach for the fight that they started, but I am sure that you do. Are you willing to fight to the end? Will you give up the ship? Are you prepared for victory? You want our guns? Mullen Lobby, come and take them! I want Vicky and Blue to come up here for a minute. I got a little something I want to give to Josh. Joshua Prince is a friend of mine. He's on a radio show with me on Saturday nights. If you haven't heard it, listen in on Spreaker, okay? This is only a taste. Joshua put in hour after hour after hour working on this case. And you know what? If it wasn't for him, the case law that was preserved in our state that changes municipalities across the state, it's not just about Erie, guys. It's about the whole state. This is about us winning a victory against people like mothers demanding some action. And I'd like to present to him, on behalf of gun rights across America and the patriots across this state, a copy of the Commodore Perry flag that flew over the USS Niagara. Don't give up the ship.